You ever been cold and hot at the same time? Because when I take off this blanket, I get really, really cold. But if when I have this blanket on, I get really, really hot. I need to sew my pillowcase back together. I need to finish my sister's sweater. This is my gay blanket. The gay colors are not in the correct order because I'm an Ijimamut and started with orange instead of starting with red. Life isn't fun for anybody right now. I just complaining about the smallest things because my brain is trying to protect me from the reality of the world that we live in right now. The next book is called World Whisper. I enjoyed World Whisper. I don't know what I was expecting when I read it, but it was pretty fucking fun. Um, it's by Rachel Devenish Ford. It's a 2016 fantasy, and it's the first book of four, so I'm pretty excited about this. I think I picked it up because it's about black people. Um, their mom, her name is Amani, she fled her home village with her four babies. Um, I'm hoping that we find out why in the next book. But three of them are 5 years old to 7 years old, and there's one baby that hasn't been born yet. So they cross the desert, and they're all malnourished, and things aren't fun, and they're four of them, I suppose, because the last baby is still inside the mother, but the four of them are dark skinned, and they come across a village that's got poison walls around it, and there are white people inside the village, and they're let in, and Amani marries the village leader, and then she dies later, but not before having, I believe, one other child with the village leader. The village leader is now dying. Some people believe it's because he let in foreigners. That's fun. Um, so the main character's name is Issaka. She has to be the lady of the house, even though she has a stepmom, and protect her younger siblings from bullies, and also their dad is kind of a dick. One of her siblings, the one that wasn't born yet when her mom crossed the desert, she has been sacrificed. They drug the child and send them down a river, and they call it being sacrificed. So their dad also wants to sacrifice Ketal, which is their youngest sibling, because they think that if they do, the dad thinks that if he does that, then it'll save his health. It won't. But Issaka and her brother, who's I abbreviated his name to Ben, but I cannot seem to find what his actual. There it is, Benayem. His name is Benayem. Um, the two of them also should be old enough to remember where they came from, but they can't. So Benayem doesn't want to talk about it. Issaka wants to know where they came from. Um, but yeah, so Kital's gonna be sacrificed. Issaka refuses to accept it. Her dad also wants, or their stepdad, also wants her to go into the priestesshood because she has power and it could be useful for their god. So, yeah, her stepmom decides that she's also going to help them. Her name is Jerutha. She's going to help them as long as they promise to come back for her. Type. I really do hope that that was not a forgotten point, but yeah. So Issaka and Benayem leave the village to go get Kital when he's sacrificed, but some dark-skinned people come and take Kital away, and Issaka starts freaking out, but Ben is like, nah, it'll be fine, we'll find them. And they get to a shore, and some birds come and talk to them, and then two guys named Jabari and Gavi show up and tell them oh, the people who get cast out, because they don't call it being sacrificed, they call it being cast out. The people who get cast out are found by the Mawheel, and they're taken there. So also their sister Arya might not be dead, which is fun. Um, I could have sworn I maybe I no. So also, I don't know if it was noticed, but there's a child missing. The reason their mom died is because one of the children that she tried to have with her new husband, that birth did not go well, and that was when she passed away. So instead of being, what, 6, there's Issachar, Benayem, Arya, and Kital. There should be 5 of them, sorry. There should be 5 of them, but there's only 4 because one of them died. But yeah, so Jabari and Gavi decide that they're going to take Kital and Issachar to their people. There's lots of walking and talking at this point. We also find out that there's a blanket. We also find out that Issachar can banish whatever the poison thing is, which is probably some of the power that her stepdad was talking about. We don't know who her actual dad is. We also still don't know where her mom came from. We don't find out either of those facts in this book. Well, I mean, I guess we sort of find out about her mom because I'm pretty sure that it says somewhere that her grandmother was the last queen of the Malwi, but I guess her mom didn't want to be queen or something happened that made her leave. Yeah. Issachar and Ben also notice that they're stronger when they're outside of the walls of that place with the white people, because I don't mean to phrase it like that, but that's literally their only defining characteristic thus far. That and like demons, but I don't want to call them demon people because they're humans. They're just white people, and Issachar and Ben are not. Yeah, so it's the worker village, and like the worker village has poison around it, and that's what makes them weak and makes everybody weak. That place is also very private. Like people have walls all around their house and stuff like that. But Ben and Issachar are getting like their entire worldview completely changed by Jabari and Gavi, which is nice. For some reason, Jabari and Gavi can also get rid of the poison, but not like Issachar can. For some reason, they don't get rid of poison on other people's land unless they want it, which is like, I don't know how are you going to tell somebody that I can only help you if you want me to help you, but if they don't think they need help. Okay. But yeah, so Ben and Issachar's dad sent people after them, and now they've made enemies because they're not going back to the village. That's fun. They get to the Malwi people. They find Arya. She's very resistant, obviously, because in her mind, she was cast out. And also, they're going after Kital. They didn't come after her. Which, I mean, in Issachar and Ben's defense, 1, they were younger. And B, their mom was still alive. And C, like, this was the breaking point. They didn't know that Arya was still alive. So, but she's willing to talk to them. So that's good. I hope Arya realizes everything that I just said, because yeah. The people who have Kital haven't returned yet though, so that's a problem. So they go like to find him, and the current leader of they're going to stay in the village, but the current leader of the village thinks that Issachar wants to be queen. Issachar does not want to be queen. Issachar just wants her brother and like to have a happy family. She does get spoken to by an elder, though. No one believes her about that, but whatever. So they go find Kital and the Lost Rescuers. They find them. Kital is fine since he's young. Issachar has to heal the others, and the elder tells her that she can be queen and that she's not alone and shit like that. I don't know what I was expecting when I read this book, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think it was just after having read so much shit, I was just like, but no, this book was pretty fucking dope, and I plan to read the other 3, and I like that Arya isn't immediately happy at seeing her family again, because that wouldn't make any sense. I also like that this book is about Black people, and it's a fantasy and dystopia, and like, yeah, it's kind of about them being Black, but the plot revolves more around the demons than the fact of them being Black, which I enjoy because, like, I've decided in all of this, because people like are supporting Black writers and Black owned businesses and all of that. That's great and everything, but I don't want to read 10,000 books about the Black experience because they all kind of revolve around the same things. And like, I get it. It's important to know the Black experience, but it's also important to remember that Black people can also be witches and knights and princesses and be the human forms of dragons and be shapeshifters. It's also important to remember that Black people can exist in other genres of media, and not everything about us just has to be like gentrification and racism, and I can't get this job because they won't hire me, and like I have my family's on welfare and we live in a poor area. Not everything has to be that. Like, also, not everything has to be, oh my God, they're Black and they're a doctor. What? Not everything has to be those, not everything has to either be Good Times or the Cosbys. Like, there's some nuance in the middle. We can have fantasy and sci-fi and romance that does not revolve around race and stuff like that. We can have all of that. Like, I would love to have a version of Pride and Prejudice where like it just kind of happens that the characters are Black. Like, yeah, it affects the story somewhat, but also like not that much if it's set in the modern era, because it can't be set during the time that Pride and Prejudice takes place. But like if it was, I have not read Pride, but my sister didn't like it, and we we don't read a lot of the same books, so I don't know if that means that I'll like it or not. But Pride is also realistic fiction, and I don't tend to drift towards realistic fiction. I tend to hate it actually, but yeah. So I like World Whisperer. It was good. I'm so tired.